Hi guys, big warm welcome to you to week 7 of this breakout series, the final one in the series and the one I'm most excited about because it tackles every single problem and issue people are facing these days right at the root. This one is called the big flip. The big flip. Now here is the thing, anxiety levels around the world are higher than they've ever been. More antidepressants are being prescribed than ever before. There are more meditations, there are more support groups, there are more medications, there's more helps than ever before, and yet the stress levels are not going down, and in fact they're going through the roof. So something isn't right, and I want to address that today because I personally believe it is possible to live a whole different way when it comes to stress and live a life stress-free. So the big flip is what I'm talking about. Every single football game I've ever gone to, it starts with the referee flipping a coin. One team is the head, one team is the tail. And that right there is the picture of where it all went wrong, and the source of all stress comes right down to one single flip. And if you could learn today how to flip every single tough situation that you face, every giant you face, every mountain you face, then you could go to a whole new level. Let me begin by saying something very controversial, but hang on to I explain it. The reason I believe that we're not getting on top of stress is because I believe stress, as it's being put across in these days, personally I believe is a myth. It's a great myth. Now what I mean by that, we are told that the sources of stress are external. They're your job going wrong, your family going wrong, your health going wrong. Every single one of these is no more than a perceived stressor. They're perceived stressors. The issue is what you do in response to these perceived stressors is the cause of stress, not the stressors themselves. Because if that was the case, then when one of my heroes, Dr. Viktor Frankl, when he came out of Auschwitz, ought to have been the most stressed person on the planet, but he was in 100% control of his emotions because he knew that no matter what perceived stressors he faced, he was still in 100% control of his response. So I'm about to introduce to you what I believe is the number one source of all stress. Now, this one flip that happened way back at the beginning is the reason that 90% plus of advertising works today, because the root of all stress is a lie that human beings have swallowed that's led to an incredible sky-high levels of self-doubt. And once you swallow a lie about yourself, then you have built a runway in your mind. And from that moment on, any aircraft of negativity that's swirling around saying you're not good enough, you're not up to scratch, you're a loser, you're a plonker, any one of these aircrafts can land on your mind because you have swallowed the lie that you're not enough. So let's get right back to when the big flip began, because advertisers are making billions on the basis of this lie, but this lie is causing stress. So here is where I'm coming from. And you know I'm a faith person, so that's where I'm coming from. But in the beginning, you and I, mankind, was made 100% perfect in the image of your maker. 100%. So if you take a Rolls Royce and you make another one in its image, what have you got? And yet when you were formed in your mother's womb, Every single part of you is light years ahead of the best machine on the planet. And you were made perfect in your Father's image. But what happened? Along come this little enemy aircraft and began to whisper one single lie. And the lie went something like this: if you do this one more thing, you will be the business. You will be the business. And from that moment on, advertising are telling you, if you just get this little bit of Botox, wear this designer shirt, drive this kind of car, get the right beauty on your arm, get the right career and qualifications, get the right big house, win the lottery, get your first million. We are sold the lie and swallowing it every day. Advertising companies are making billions on this because we've bought into the lie. There's something you can do, something you can buy, something you can achieve that will give you the peace and the fulfillment and the significance you're looking for. And that is the greatest lie on the planet. And it is the source of all self-doubt and depression and stress. And it gets so exciting when you learn how to blow up that runway in your mind of self-doubt and negativity, and you begin to put fence posts along the edge of the cliff. My wife and I went to London and paid a good bit of money to hear an expert from Australia on stress. And when we came back, we were kind of shocked because the gentleman was brilliant. What he said was brilliant. The only problem is we came home with this feeling that it's only dealing with the branches but not the root of the tree. And the whole thing felt like all these suggestions for dealing with stress: go to the sauna, get yourself outside, do this, do that, eat better, all brilliant things. All of them were no more than building an emergency clinic at the bottom of a cliff. And I'm working with a number of experts and specialists right now who are much more concerned about getting up the river long before the person gets to the cliff edge and helping people to stop falling off the cliff. And so what I want to do is, in this talk, is giving you the greatest thing I ever learned when it comes to stress. And it is this: identify the runway lie that's inside you, learn how to blow it up, and then learn to build the fence posts 6 feet back from the cliff edge. So when the storms hit that cliff and troubles hit that cliff and financial issues hit that cliff and all kinds of things hit that cliff, yeah, you may fall now and again, but there is a fence stopping you falling off the cliff. And this is my passion in this video, not just to help people get through a day, a little bit of self-help, but to give people some concrete, scientific proven truths and tools that will not only keep you from the cliff edge, but will actually help you to face stress, or shall I say perceive stress, in a whole new way and live stress-free. So let me begin with this. Number one, identify once and for all and reject it, the lie that says you're not perfect, you're not up to scratch, you're not the business, you don't have what it takes, there is something missing in you. Every single part of that is a fundamental lie. So take those lies and reject them every time they come to your mind, because they are lying to you that you don't have what it takes inside you to get through the next day, but you do. And I'll tell you the reason why you do. And so once you identify the lie, somebody told you if you had half a brain you'd be dangerous. Somebody told you you could never play guitar. Somebody told you you'll never amount to anything. Every single one of them is sitting inside you like a runway. And all these little enemy aircraft lies and doubts, they're just landing when they feel like it. And so guess what happens? You put your head on the pillow each night and you switch a video on. Subconsciously, a video switched on. And what does the video look like? You just lie there and you just play that video over and over again. And all these little enemy aircrafts are swirling around. And you just remember that person that looked at you the wrong way. You just remember that bad text you got. You just remember that bad vibe you got. You just remember that bad news you got. And those little aircrafts swirl around all night and they're landing and landing and landing. And by the time they've done their job, you go to sleep. If you're lucky, you go to sleep, but your stress levels, the cells in your body, your hormones, they are going absolutely crazy. So guess what happens? Your quality of sleep is down. Your quality of rest is down. Your quality of break is down. So you're waking up in the morning more tired than you were before you went to sleep. But that's all about to change now, because I'm going to encourage you how to be the producer of your own movie. So I want to encourage you, take your movie controls tonight, and as soon as your head puts the pillow, I want you to put these fence posts 6 feet back for the cliff, because fence posts of truth is what blows up runway and sets you stress free. And the stressors, perceived stressors, and the aircraft, when they try to get past these truths, they can't, because every single time they come to you to tell you you're not going to make it, you're not good enough, you're not up to scratch, you're going to hit them hard with these life-giving, proven, scientific truths, and you will go to sleep stress-free and you will wake up stress-free. So number one fence post you're going to put in 6 feet from the edge of your cliff is this: I am perfect because I'm made in my Father's image. Second one, I am fearfully and wonderfully made in my mother's womb. 3, I am more than a conqueror and not some loser. Number 4, I can run through a whole troop of problems and leap over every single wall of doubt. Number 5, nothing is impossible to me when I believe. The next one, I am the head and not the tail. And so when that voice comes telling you the tail, you're a loser, you're the hen, you just need to flip that thing. How do you get the truth of every single situation? When a lie comes to you, just take your coin and flip it and hit it with a fence post. Excuse me, I'm not the tail, I'm the head. And here's the final one. I am enough. 100% enough. In fact, you ladies, or whatever, you can take a marker, you can take lipstick, you can take what you like. I suggest you write that all over your mirror. I am more than enough. And the next time you're in a heated discussion, you got people coming to you with troubles, accusations, here's what I suggest you do, because that's where most stress and confrontation comes from. In your mind's eye, when somebody's coming at you, you in your mind's eye put an imaginary coffee table between you and the person. Put an imaginary coffee table there, and every single accusation they hit you with, you just in your mind's eye take it, you place it on the table. The next thing they say, just put it on that table. The next thing they accuse you, just put it on the table. Don't let those things go straight into your landing strip. You have to put a barrier, a fence post between you and stuff that's coming at you. At the moment, what's happened to most of you, somebody says stuff and it's just going boom, straight onto the runway. Once it gets on the runway, like every army in battle, once it takes control of your airways and your landing strips, you're in stress trouble. But you don't have to be that way. So the next time they say something horrible, put it on the table and put every single thing on the table. And in your mind's eye, just walk around the table and ask yourself a simple question. Is it true? And then you ask yourself, whose stuff is this? And 99 times out of 100, the thing they're saying is their stuff. It may be the odd thing you have to put your hand up and go, hey, yeah, I blew it there, forgive me, I'm sorry, and move on. But 9 times out of 10, when somebody's coming at you, it's their stuff. And they're just offloading the stuff. And because you have runways and stuff just lands on the runway and plays in your head. So here's what I want you to do. Take that stuff and walk around the coffee table and ask yourself which one of these things is your stuff. 9 times out of 10 it won't be your stuff. And then you just in your mind's eye go, hey, this is their stuff. So you leave that stuff on the table and you don't take it in. Take it home with you and take it to bed. So once you played your video, every single time you wake up in the morning, wake up expecting something brilliant to happen, and also expect that when stuff comes your way, you're in a whole new place today. You're not going from failure looking for success. You got your success on the pillow last night. You told yourself there is nothing you need to do to please nobody tomorrow to make you significant. There's nothing you need to do to win tomorrow to make you significant. You don't need $1 million tomorrow to make you significant. You don't need that new top of the range car, shirt, whatever to make you significant. You don't need that bit of weight off here and a bit more on here or whatever to make you significant. You're getting up in the morning as the most significant, awesome human being because you were not made in the image of some dumpling, some plonker or some sucker. You were made in the image of the greatest, most beautiful, loving creator of all time. So you're going to get up in the morning, and before you get out of your bed, you're going to hammer these fence posts in another couple of inches. You're going to say, hey, I am perfect today because I'm made in my Father's image. I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. I'm more than a conqueror. I can run through a troop of problems and I can leap over any wall of doubt today. Nothing is impossible to me because now I believe. I'm the head and I'm nobody's tail. So I'm taking charge of my world, my responses, and my own happiness today. That is my decision as I leave the house today. So your shoulders are back, you're putting an extra spring in your step, you're breathing deeper, you're walking like a royal winning conqueror, and you're operating as if every victory you need has already taken place. And if you will repeat and play this video every single night, eventually, not in 21 days as everybody tells you, you can't change a habit in 21 days. It takes a minimum of 63 days. But just get into the habit of keep doing this thing until those negative warplanes get fed up with you and hop off and begin to trouble somebody else. So from this moment on, blow up that number one source of stress, that you're not enough, and replace it with the most beautiful, life-freeing truth. Whatever size of problem comes, I am more than enough. Have a great, great week and keep blowing up those landing strips until you have no more, and begin to live stress-free for the rest of your life. Have a great week, guys. Thank you.